The Holt's Farm at Bayview in Hawke's Bay is one of a number of farming operations to open their gates on Federated Farmers' Farm Open Day. They run a mixed operation, including sheep, beef, goats, crops and forestry. Farm Open Day provides a chance to give urbanites an understanding of not only what farmers do, but how and why. This is the second year the program's been running, and it's a free event.
Farm Day is about encouraging people in the urban area to come out and have a look at what we do on a farm, try and appreciate and understand a lot of things that go on. It's not as though they're ignorant, I just think they are unaware of the processes out in the farm. I think the golf has just developed because there are less people on the land farming, and people don't have that relationship with cousins or uncles who've lived or worked on farms, so they don't visit farms very often, and I think they'd really like to get out and enjoy it. It's 700 effective hectares and there's about 100 hectares of commercial forest. On this farm there's about 8,000 stock units, and on the other blocks there's 4,000. It's a very dry farm. It's got a sort of valleys system, very floodable flats which came out of the earthquake in 1931. But it's very limiting in water. We've got a few little springs, and that's the reason why we've had to put a bore down. And the bore water is the worst possible water, but it's that or nothing. The business is about having a breeding operation and in good seasons finishing as much as we can. We've got to farm to our climate, and we've got to have a lot of flexibility built into the system. Our roots are pretty firmly in this land. We put a lot of blood, sweat and tears into getting trees growing and breaking in the farm. Most of the farm originally was gorse. All the flats originally was like a swamp after the 31 earthquake, the 38 flood, the 63 flood. So there's been a lot of development, a lot of money spent on it, and there's a huge heritage of trees that we've planted.
Behind us are the cypresses, which were Philip's and my first plantings, and they are a perfect example of wrong tree for the site. We've learned a lot. Cypresses don't grow well here at all, and so that they've got fluting, they've got canker. I think anything that could go wrong has gone wrong, but they stay here as an example that you can make mistakes and you learn. Philip's tried to do as much stock fodder trees as possible. We've got claditzias, carobs, we've got some chestnuts. Whether you're using the foliage or the beans they produce, the fruit. We're in a very dry area, so anything that might help feed the animals is good. Native plantings, mostly Philip's off-farm interest, I guess, on-farm, off-farm. Yeah, he just really enjoys getting out and planting trees and then reaping the benefits. And although it can be a long-term investment, you see the results very quickly.
After the 31 earthquake, all these hills had such a big shake-up. In 38 we had this major flood. A lot of the silt ended up on the flats, so the flats came up even higher, and then it turned into...
Days like today, I think you can take things for granted, but when we have visitors, that's when it's particularly exciting, because you do step back and look at the years gone by really and what's happened, so that is exciting.
Philip's son, also called Philip, has followed his parents into farming.
We've chopped and changed over the last few years just to try and get a good bearing on the best breed, and we have tried Romneys and we've got Romneys on another block and a few Perrindales as well, but we've come back to the coop with, just because they still can perform after they've had a hard year. They seem to do quite well in this country, and they're eczema tolerant as well, and that's one thing we have to really look out for, because if the conditions are right, then yeah, eczema's a big problem. With the cattle side of things on this farm, we calve about 100 R2 heifers, and we've got about 250 breeding cows. We've gone to Angus. We've been making the transition over the last probably 8 years, and we're really happy with them. Nice and quiet, good temperament, easy to work with, and they do very well in this kind of country as well, because they can live off rat's tail and long rank grass when nothing else does as well. In a bad season with cattle, we've got the facilities now to feed out. We cut probably 300 plus big bales of hay every year. That's an annual thing. After 07 we've kind of been taught the tough lesson there. So we've got the facilities to feed out. All our cull cows are all drafted up, all ready to go, so they'll be the first things that need to go, if that be. Weaners and all that we try and finish ourselves, but if the season's tough enough they can also go, so as long as we've got the main breeding cows left behind, we're happy.
We've been farming goats on this property for over 50 years, starting with ferals to eat gorse and blackberry, and then we've gone through all the booms of the Angoras, Cashgoras, Cashmeres and all the busts. And it's a bit fickle at times, so I've gone into the meat, boar meat. I've seen them to Wellington or Wire or up to the Waikato. It's a little bit fickle at times getting them killed, but we're getting quite good money for them. And it's a low cost, there's very little drenching. All the handling really is the marking, docking.
We've been talking about ways to get better understanding with our people in the towns and cities of New Zealand. And it was a concept we got from UK actually. They've been doing a rural urban day over there, and it's creating a better awareness from the town people of what we do on the farm and why we do it with our animals and our land and soil and our water. And we want to get a better understanding.
Those are lamb's teeth, like little kids, so they only have teeth on the bottom. It'll lose these teeth in about 6 months' time. Yeah, like you. We'll have 2 big teeth sticking out the front. So
we're getting a lot of pressure from the urban sector on our impact on the environment, and we do impact, and there's no denying that. We think we mitigate what we do quite well, but we've got to get our message across why we do what we do and how we're going to mitigate those effects on our water and on our soils and our environment in general.
Have you ever touched ball like this before? No? That's exciting, isn't it?
A side benefit we see of doing this is exposing young people to farming, because we need more young people. I mean, the dairy industry is still crying out for labour. And sheep and beef will be in the same position when we have an upturn in our industry. We'll be short of young people. So. One of the things we wanted to get across today, that no questions out of bounds, whether it's about the environment or our stock or what we do on our weekends. We've identified, those of us that are in the helping run the day, that we're a farmer, and so if you want to know anything about it, ask me.
This program was made with funding from New Zealand On Air.